Welcome to the Civil War Guru Show. My name is stevemnsn, and I am the Civil War Guru. And today I have in here is a great Kentucky grouping. And this is a grouping that's kind of fond in my heart. This is the Louisville Legion. The Louisville Legion was established in 1835 prior to the Mexican War and went on through the Civil War. And the 5th Kentucky out of Louisville was the Louisville Legion. Now what we have here is an Ames made, 1861 dated cavalry sword. And this is a infantryman that owned this sword. And in the Western Theater, arms were at a shortage. So they would go down to 3rd and Market and 3rd and Main Street in Louisville. And that's where the military outfitters were. And they would take whatever they could get. And this gentleman, he took this 1861 dated Ames sword made in Massachusetts. Now his name was Lieutenant Harry Casson, and he was in Company A of the 5th Kentucky Infantry, and again, the Louisville Legion. And what's so unique about this sword, which is kind of unusual, it has the presentation, has his name and the presentation dates on engraved between the two mounts. And it has what it has is Shiloh, it has Corinth, and it has Stones River and the date. And what's unusual is you normally see these engraved on the brass portions of a sword. But this is engraved on the metal scabbard, which is kind of unique. And this guy was a hero. And he fought at all the other battles of the Western Theater. I named those 3. Now let's talk about Tullahoma and Chickamauga, the most famous battle. This gentleman made it through the war, went back to Louisville, and lived until 1899. This is a wonderful sword, and I also have the Soldier's Memorial, which lists the 5th Kentucky, the Louisville Legion, and the staff officers, some of the enlisted men, and all the battles. And he's listed on this. And this particular one belonged to him. And I'll get some pictures of it. We're having, I guess, working with the lighting in here. We're under fluorescence. But it's so important to get these pieces of history out there, especially if you're from Kentucky, where you can actually see them. And this particular sword is on display down in our museum in Bardstown, Kentucky. The Battles of the Western Theater Museum. It's on display with the War Memorial. So this is kind of neat. It's local history up in Louisville. And these guys, they were tough. They fought in all the battles. And these were the high casualty rates in all these battles for these Kentucky boys. And they were fighting Kentuckians on the other side, especially at Stones River and Chickamauga. So this is a great sword. I'm going to try to get up here and get all the markings on it and try to get some of the shots on the memorial that shows his name. And again, this is a super, super rare find because you hardly find anything of the Louisville Legion. Because most of that you see with Louisville Legion, any accolades for the Legion is done through the Mexican War. And very little of it you see in the Civil War, with the Civil War accolades. And another unique thing about this, they recruited down there at the original Fort Nelson, down on Main Street, and that's around 8th and Main. And Fort Nelson was the colonial fort, with the famous George Rogers Clark commanded it. So that building was still in existence, and of course it had faded from a fort into brick and mortars, and that's where the Louisville Legion was recruited for the Civil War. And again, a lot of the military outfitters on Market Street and Main Street down in Louisville. So all you folks that are familiar with Louisville, 3rd and Market and 4th and Main and 8th and Main, the old Fort Nelson. There's a big historical marker there. But I'm going to get up here and get you some close-ups so you can see the engravings on it. Hopefully, my grandson's finishing up his college, and we'll get a better photographer in here other than me. But I'm going to give it the best. The old guru's going to do what he can do. And hope you enjoy it. And I'll, like I say, it'll be jumping around trying to get you some good shots of what I think you need to see. So from the Civil War Guru, enjoy. Okay, I hope y'all can see this. You know, I've got as close, I'm going to try to get a little closer on the engraving between the two mounts. And it says Henry Casson, Company A. Then it has LL, large LL, that's for Louisville Legion. 5th Kentucky Infantry and Volunteers. Then it has the first battle, which is Shiloh. And it's engraved, it looks like April 17th, 1862. Then below that, you have spaced underneath of it, Corinth and Stones Rivers. These were 3 of the hottest battles of the Western Theater in the early war. And I'm going to zoom in, see if I can get a little closer, if the camera will focus on it. And then we'll move to the Ames marking. But this is what the most important markings on it. The engraving on this stick scabbard, which is beautiful in my opinion, on a metal scabbard. So let me see if I can zoom in for you. Hoping I'm not making you too dizzy. Trying to refocus on the Corinth and the Stones River. See if I can bring it up a little bit closer, hopefully. Maybe, maybe not. That's the best that I'm going to be able to get it on the battle presentations on it. Now we'll move to the markings on the blade. And here you are with the U.S. and the inspector's marks in the 1861 date. And I'll let it sit there for a while so you can see that. This is actually real early war production cavalry sword. This is, of course, they call it the light cavalry sword, model of 1860. And I'll spin it around here, and you can see the scroll encased Ames on the back, so you can see how it's marked. All right, here we go. There's your, looks like a piece of parchment scrolled, and then you have your full address in there of Ames. And again, it's got a great blade. It's got 100% of the leather grip, and it's got most of the original wire on it. Alright, now we're going to go to the Soldiers Memorial that has a lot of great information on the 5th Kentucky. Okay, that's it. So from the Civil War Guru, have a great day.